right, Josh?
Sure. Let's do it.
Welcome back to the Junior Oil with Manning and Jacko. We are very pleased to bring on the team director, Rob Lee, for Blue and Orange. We're really excited having you on today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Great. Thanks for having me, guys.
So you've been a big part of this Junior Oilers organization. Maybe if, for those that don't know who you are, maybe give them some detail of your position, what you do for the Oilers, and how long you've been on with the Junior Oilers.
Yeah, sure. So I've joined the Oilers in the first year of inception, and how they found me was I was on the board at Southside Athletic Club, and I'd been a director with Nathan Paperny, who they had hired as the Blue coach. I'd been with Nathan for about 6 years, so needing somebody who'd been around the league, and I had a son who'd played 2 years in the league as well. So it seemed like a natural fit for me to come on with the Junior Oilers, and having familiarity with Nathan certainly helped. And there was a lot of work in the first year to get the program up and running, and certainly we had a lot of help from Joel Lennius is really the driver of this program. And certainly it was a pleasure working hand in hand with Joel and continued to do that.
Yeah,
so,
Joel's great.
Yeah, he's fabulous.
Yeah, he's been nothing but nice and welcoming to us throughout the season.
Yeah, he's been great.
And I mean, and his team the White is just on fire.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd be remiss in not mentioning them too, because the way we set this program up is we really treat it as a family atmosphere. We're here at the Bill tonight, and really, this is our home. We treat it like our house, and quite often you guys will see both the Blue and Orange team interacting with the White team. The White team comes out and supports us all the time, and really, that's one of the things that Joel and I are really proud of, is how we've been able to develop that culture in all three teams. And then you talk about the success of the White team. I think if you go down their roster and you look at the college commitments that those young ladies have gotten, it's absolutely outstanding. So, I'm not the director for the White team, but certainly I pay attention to it, and what they're doing is really it's some good stuff.
It's phenomenal this year. They're 21-0.
Yeah.
And they got a game tomorrow at Rogers Place, 1:00. Tickets still available for that game. We'd like to see everyone there.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're looking to go 22-0 on the season,
which is wild.
Yeah, and the Rogers Place event is really it's a special event for everybody. As you know, we've just had our Blue Orange game there, and
that was a lot of fun.
It's a fabulous experience for everybody that's involved, and a big thank you to the Edmonton Oilers for hosting us. And certainly, I think that's a memory that every boy that plays at Rogers Place will have.
Most definitely.
Yeah, for sure. It was a very, very fun event. You said we have some fun stories for today to get into. First one, you were talking about Nikita Kulikov.
Yeah, so, we're very proud of the way we've developed hockey players that have moved on, but we're also very proud of how we've been able to develop young men. And when I think of some of the characters that have walked through the door here at the Bill, Nikita Kulikov really comes to mind, and I'll tell a little story that it sort of rings home with me. So Nikita, as you guys are probably aware, was from the Ukraine. He'd played in Germany the year before he came to us, but most of his playing career was in the Ukraine. And so he came to camp, and he had a very good camp. And it was quite apparent that he was going to earn a spot on one of either the Blue or the Orange team. So he was selected by Nathan Paperny on the Blue team, and he had a great camp and eventually made the team. Now, Nathan's not a stranger to having European players. When Nathan and I were at Southside Athletic Club, and it was still called Minor Midget AAA, we had a player named Gino Ostrowski who came to us from Belarus. And so, it's a little bit difficult getting going as a coach because, there is that language barrier.
Sure, I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah, so, and back in the day when Gino was with us, the things weren't advanced in terms of language translation and things like that. So, so once Nikita made the team, Nathan came to me and he said, how are we gonna communicate with this young man? And I said, I think we'll do some of the things that we did with Gino. And Nate said to me, he says, I think I'm going to get one of those language translation apps on the phone. And I said, that's a good idea. So anyways, a couple days later, I came to the rink and I went down to the coaching room, and all I could hear was giggling. And so I went in the room, and here Nathan and Nikita were trying to use this app, but all they were doing was giggling. And so I thought, well, geez, this is kind of odd. So one of my best friend to this day is a gentleman by the name of Craig Heisinger. Craig Heisinger is the assistant general manager of the Winnipeg Jets, but he's the general manager of the Manitoba Moose. So he knows about hockey development, developing players for the next level. And I thought to myself, well, I better give him a call because, he's had lots of European players come through his doors and just see if he had any tips for me. So I got on the phone and I called him up and I said, Zinger, we have a young gentleman from the Ukraine who's going to play for us. His English is limited, but I said, he's not too bad, but do you have any tips for me? He said, well, the first tip I can give you is don't use those apps.
There's a problem.
There's a problem there. So he did eventually give us a couple of pointers that we did use, and certainly Nikita just ingrained himself with that blue team last year, and he really was a larger-than-life personality. He was a big teddy bear off the ice.
Well, that helps, I guess, with when you're trying to communicate. If you're outgoing and willing to learn, obviously, and if you have a big personality like that I guess that allows people to be more friendly with you and want to maybe have more patience with you when you're trying to learn a new language.
Yeah, absolutely. And I give Nikita a lot of credit because when he came here, he didn't know anybody. And
that must have been intimidating. I can only imagine, right?
Yeah, but as you know, he was a big, strong power forward that came to us. But what people don't know is when he first was trying out for the team, he was taking the bus to the rink with his equipment. So that just showed the dedication, the commitment, and then once he made the team, he became friends with some of the guys that had cars, and so they would gladly pick Nikita up and bring him to the rink. But that's a real feel-good story for Nathan and I, bringing him in and to see the success he's had. I know he went to the Saskatchewan Junior League. Don't think that worked out, but I do believe he's playing in British Columbia now. Might be in the KIJHL. So
yeah, no, that's good. I can't even imagine like going to a country where you don't know the language and trying to get integrated into a new system, a new team. That must have been intimidating for anyone at the start, but he obviously had a good attitude about it. Attitude goes a long way.
He had a terrific attitude about things, and I think if we asked Nikita to play goal, he probably would have. He was that type of guy, and he was just a real fun young gentleman to see come through our program.
That's excellent. I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what the junior Oilers are at the fundamental level. That's what we're all about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think back to our first year, and not only are we here to develop players, we're here to develop young men.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we've had a lot of success in moving players on to the next level. I think about our first year that we had the program going, Zane Saab on the Orange team, who's now in the Western Hockey League. We had Ethan Hughes on the Blue team. We had Josh Bonini, who was with us for 2 years, but then moved on.
And he's doing good things too.
Yeah.
Josh Bonini's doing great things, and he's another one of those character guys that came to our program, and I'll never forget Josh. When he had a shutout, he would celebrate halfway down the ice with it, pumping his stick and stuff like that. And so we're very proud of that fact, but we're also very proud of the fact that we've developed some really good young men as well.
And that's what it's all about. And it goes to show, like on the ice too. I mean, with that positivity, I always believe surrounds itself with positivity. It attracts other positivity, right?
Yeah.
And when you have such a good environment like that, in my opinion, only good things will come from that.
Yeah, you bring in more players, and it's just a great environment all around.
Exactly.
Yeah, you guys are right that the positivity is good, and I think back to last year, and we've had quite a few high-end 15-year-old players. Like you think about Nolan Stewart last year on the Blue team. That young man had 50 points in his first year in the U18 AAA League. And we've got a young gentleman who we're going to see here tonight named Ben Harvey, 4th overall pick in the Western Hockey League, who's a tremendous talent.
And having a great year.
Having a great year for the Orange teams. Played some games. with the Prince Albert Raiders.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we've been really blessed with some really talented young players. And, when they come to us at 15 and they put up 50 points, they usually don't come back. So,
Yeah.
It's a pleasure announcing games. I know you could
Yeah.
probably say the same thing, Ewan. It's such high level hockey and entertaining hockey
For sure.
at the end of the day, and just announcing it is a fun time for
Yeah.
us in the
Yeah.
booth. Every game in and game out.
yeah,
It's always a good time.
It's exciting, and I think Joel and the people that surround Joel at Hockey Edmonton, we've done a good job at getting our presence out there. We have a real strong social media presence.
Yeah.
Thanks to Kylie Quinn, who
Shout
who
out
does-
Kylie, yeah.
Shout out to Kylie, who does all our communications and things like that. But we have a good product, that we put on the ice. That includes you guys too. Like thanks for all the help that you guys do. You're fabulous on the airwaves and stuff, and so
Yeah.
that really helps. And it's created the image and the culture that Joel and I sort of had in mind that we wanted to create.
Well, it's a pleasure to be a part of it,
Yeah, for
even if it's
sure.
a small part
Yeah.
of it. It's a dream come true, and even doing these games at Rogers Place, that game last week was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then we get to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, which is
It's
It's
I cannot
awesome.
wait.
Yeah, and and the little things, just the little touches, like having a photographer at,
Yeah.
at those games,
Yeah,
and-
shout out Tyson. That's my boy from. I know Tyson, the photographer, from our time with the Edmonton Riverhawks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, baseball.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the inaugural season, we were both on board with the Riverhawks.
Right.
So
right.
I
and then we have Rebecca Chalmers
Yeah.
who takes pictures for us too.
Yeah,
and
yeah, she
I've
does a
just
great
seen,
job.
Yeah.
Just seen some of the ones that she's posted online of the Blue Orange game, and they're fabulous. And
Oh,
those-
it's
Yeah.
amazing.
it's nice to capture the memories for for these young gentlemen. And
Yeah.
one of the pictures that she got, which is, for an old guy like me who's been around a while, is there's a picture of Kenny Lowe and Barry Stafford in the dressing room before the game.
Oh, wow.
And those two go way back to the glory days of,
Yeah.
of the Edmonton Oilers. And I don't know exactly how many, but I think Kenny Lowe was. He was involved in over 1,700 NHL hockey games, and I'm sure
Oh.
Barry Stafford was probably right beside him as well.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Legends.
like that, and that's just another piece of the program that we're proud of. Our medical staff that do such a great job when these guys are injured and stuff, and Kenny Lowe, he treats these young men like they're NHL players.
Yeah. I actually didn't even realize it. Was he with you guys last year, Kenny Lowe?
Yeah, Kenny's been with us since day one.
Yeah, I never noticed that he was part of the crew until this year. I'm like, wow, that's Ken Lowe down there.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
So it's such a tight-knit group here in Edmonton. And the OEG, they do a great job of hosting us at Rogers Place.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like I said, tomorrow's going to be a phenomenal
it
day.
sure will be.
Yeah.
Should be a good game.
Yeah, I cannot wait. One thing we like to do on a podcast here, too, is not just talk about hockey, but we like to do what the Oilers do, right? The junior Oilers, and get to know the people.
Yep.
And so just a little bit about you. Maybe
Sure.
tell the people where you're from, where you grew up, what got you into hockey at a young age.
Yep.
Because we all have those origin stories of what got us into hockey, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm born and raised in Winnipeg. That's where I'm from originally. And I grew up in a single-parent family. But my mom got me actively involved in team sports. And so when I was 5, I went to play hockey. And I happened to meet Craig Heisinger, who became my best buddy. And so, that's how I sort of got involved in hockey and really stayed in hockey and developed that passion for hockey was through him and his dad. His dad was always the manager of our teams, and those were back in the days when we played most of our games outdoors. And he was
wow.
he was the ice maker as well. So, hats off to him. His name was Vic Heisinger, and certainly sort of a role model, mentor for me as well. So I played all the way up. I played a little bit of junior B when I was in Winnipeg, but I quickly realized that I wasn't going to make any money at hockey, so I had to probably do something else. So I went to university. I got a business degree from the University of Manitoba.
Excellent.
And but I continued on with hockey. I always had a strong passion for it. I graduated, like I said, with a business degree, and I entered into the pharmaceutical world. And that's where I spent my entire career. So this year, actually this month, will be my 40th year in the pharmaceutical industry. I work for a company that makes drugs for rare diseases, and what I do is I negotiate the contracts with the provincial government. So that's what pays the bills for me. But I kept my toe in the hockey world. I was always a big fan, and then when I had my children, of course, my son was going to play hockey, and
Of course.
I had a daughter. She went the dance route, and actually turned out really well for her because she turned that into a cheerleading career with the Edmonton. It was the Eskimos then, called the Elks now.
Nice.
Wow.
But I coached my son all the way up until he was 12 at Confed and SWAT here in the city. And then he went on to play at Southside Athletic Club, and that's when it was non-parent coaches. So I was a team manager for a year, and then after that year, they asked me to join the board. And so I joined the board of Southside Athletic Club when my son was playing, which is sometimes a little bit difficult.
Sure.
And maybe a little difficult for my son as well. People take pot shots at you. You know,
Right.
you're only on the team.
Of course.
And he
Yeah.
was a good player, so he was playing on the AAA teams. And I always looked at people who were only on the board when their sons played as I wasn't really a fan of that. So I said to myself, when my son is finished playing and retired and things like that, I'm going to continue to be on the board. So that's what I have been to this day. I'm still on the board of directors at Southside Athletic Club.
Nice.
I help them out where I can, but my main focus is really with the junior oilers, and that takes up a lot of my time. So hockey's been in my blood my entire life, and I certainly have met many great people in this game, and that's what I often tell people. Enjoy the experience, enjoy the ride, and enjoy the people that you meet, because everybody's career does come to an end at some point.
This is true. Hopefully not for a while.
Not for these
For
guys.
us.
No, no.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up loving hockey. One of the first memories is watching the Oilers, just a little bit before your time, Ewan, but the Oilers taking on Dallas in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Always getting beat by them. Those are some of my first memories. But yeah, I always grew up loving hockey. Hockey was like one of my first loves.
Yeah.
One of the first things I can remember watching as a kid, and I'm glad I've been able to move that into a career of being a broadcaster, and I just love sports in general.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And and I'll go back a little bit earlier. Winnipeg Jets had some very good teams. You think back to a guy named Dale Howardchuk, who's no longer with us. Very sad story
Yeah.
that Dale's not with us anymore. But Dale was an unbelievable hockey player and an unbelievable human as well. But those teams that Dale played on, they were really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But they could never beat the Oilers. That's the part of it,
Yeah,
right?
it was
The
during the
Oilers-
glory days,
the
right?
Oilers were too good, and
Yeah.
it was a roadblock that the Jets could never really solve.
What was the thing about timing, right? They
Yeah.
were good, but then the team was just a little bit better.
Just a little bit better,
Yeah.
yeah. So I enjoyed lots of Oilers Jets.
So,
games.
were you a Jets fan growing up then?
Oh, absolutely.
You had to have been, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and of course, with my best friend being the assistant GM, I have to be a Jets fan now. Like,
Hey, fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes you might see me in the rink with my Junior Oilers jacket on, but underneath I might have a Jets T-shirt on.
Okay, you can't argue that. That's fair.
They're having a great year right now.
Oh, my
as well,
goodness.
So
Yeah, just they've got a very good team, and I would say they have the best goalie in the league.
for sure, 100%.
Yeah,
It's hard to argue that. Hellebuck is one of the best,
he
man.
can win
if
you
not
a
the
game
best.
any night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really can.
And he's got that experience too,
Yeah.
For sure.
right? Which goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
So do our boys, though. as well.
Well, I hope we don't have to face the Jets because I'd be
Oh, I
worried
know,
about
that'd be a
Hellebuck
crazy series, man.
goalieing us. That's the last thing I
Oh,
want.
Yeah, especially after last year.
Yeah, for sure. So
But tonight, we got a good game.
We have an exciting one tonight.
Oh, it's a good one. It always is. The Junior Oilers blue taking on the Junior Oilers orange. This is a perfect time to have you on, too.
Yeah.
Right?
absolutely, yeah.
The director.
It's the emotions run high in these games.
They
right?
do,
The-
man.
The boys get pumped up for it, and it's really it's great to see. We just came off the Rogers Place game where
Yeah.
Orange was victorious. And
They
Yeah.
took advantage of the sloppy play by the Blue in their own zone.
yeah, they sure
Yeah.
did. So I think tonight's going to be a great game. Everybody gets up for these. If you can't get up for these, then you better check your heartbeat here.
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
See,
Yeah.
see if anything's
Yeah.
working.
These are the best ones of the year, man.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, exactly. So
And the physicality that comes out of these two teams, even though they share the same name, the Oilers,
yeah.
you would never have known. You
No,
think they're
it's-
like Battle of Alberta, right?
Yeah,
It's
like I
just
said,
crazy,
the
man.
emotions run high, and
Yeah.
and it's been like this since the initiation of the program.
Yeah?
The first year, the blue-orange games are always very physical with lots of emotion. I would venture to say that maybe they got it a little bit too emotional at some point, but this year I think it's been a little bit better. We've mostly stuck to hockey and just good, hard, fast hockey.
Yeah, and it always is between these two teams.
Yeah.
And there's a chance, the way the standings are, they could face each other again in the playoffs.
Last year was crazy.
Yeah,
them
so
ending up.
as you guys can see, the North Division is very tight right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, it is.
And
Every single night, the positioning
night.
moves.
Yeah, every night you look and it changes, and it changes
Yeah.
within the night as well.
Yes.
So, like last year we faced each other there, and that's not ideal for Joel and I. We would like them to face each other in the North Final.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
that's sometimes that's utopia at its best.
Yeah.
But
But
we'll
that
see.
could happen.
It could happen.
It could happen.
It could happen. So,
Oh, man, that'd be ideal.
I think the thing that we know is that both teams are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And where they finish, I think it's going to go down to the last weekend. Where
Oh,
they're gonna
I think so
finish.
too. I think so too.
Yeah.
As far as the seeding.
Yeah.
So including this game, the Oilers have, I think it's 10 games left, including this game.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 of which are at home here at the Bill Hunter Arena
Wow.
for Orange. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been on the road for a long time,
Yes.
so I would have expected
Yeah,
that.
so they only have 2 more road games, so Junior Oilers Orange.
Yeah.
So they're going to be here at the Bill Hunter a lot. And they have Blues number.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yeah,
Right.
they really do. So, we'll see. I know, Nathan's been around a long time, but so is Lee. They're both high-level coaches, and it's always a chess match to see kind of what's going to go on. I think Blue has a few more road games. I do believe they still have a trip to Calgary.
Yeah.
That is right near the end of the year. That's going to be important, but. That's a difference this year that I've noticed is that the North has had a lot of success against the South teams.
Yeah.
And so that's unusual because we usually see the South pretty
Right.
strong. I did manage to watch the Buffs play, and
Yep.
they got off to a tough start, but they're starting to put it together.
Right.
And
Yep.
so I would never count those guys out either.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good teams in the South Division, man.
Yeah.
But let's hope that one of these teams make it all the way
Yeah.
through.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you expect from tonight's game, Ewan? I mean, this is going to be a good matchup, but what does Blue have to do to get over the hump here, man?
Well, I don't know. The last 2 times they've played them, it could have gone either way, Josh, especially the first one.
Yeah.
They ended up getting scored
true.
on with a few seconds left in the game and then losing in overtime. So really, it's just going to come down to bearing down Josh, especially in the defensive zone. That's the one thing I noticed last game.
Blue just gave away the puck way too easily
Yeah.
in the D zone. And if they're going to have any chance against Orange, they
Yeah.
can't be doing stuff like that because that just gives it to them. It makes it way too easy for Orange to capitalize.
Yeah.
And
I think-
Orange doesn't need any favors like that. They're
No,
a good
they
enough
don't.
team.
They're a good team.
Yeah.
And I think tonight it's going to come down to some special teams.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think Blue at the Rogers game, they didn't have that greatest success in the power
Right.
play.
Yeah.
So, and I think the Orange team has got one of the best penalty kills in the league
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now. So I think it could come down to special teams tonight.
Yeah, both of them actually have almost identical penalty killing. That's 87%. They've both
Crazy.
only given up 16 power play goals against, both of them,
which is very good.
Yeah.
which is really good. And it's if one of the teams can somehow get a couple, or maybe even one power play goal, that might be all
Yeah.
you need
Yeah.
for the difference in this game.
A lot of them low-scoring hockey games as well. We
Yeah.
saw it last year.
Well, keep it tight.
Keeping it tight. Both goaltenders very, very
Very
solid.
Oh yes,
So
yeah, goaltending is huge for all 3 of these teams.
Yeah.
Orange, blue, and white.
Yeah. we've really been blessed with some great goaltenders in this program.
Yes, most definitely.
You think about the first 2 years.
Yeah.
We had the same 4 goalies for the first 2 years.
Crazy.
Right? With Madden Malaka and Avon Maxey and Josh Benini and Kyan Gray. And, we didn't expect that. We thought maybe one from each team would be there. But lo and behold, we got all 4 back, which is a real surprise for us. And certainly, as you saw, Josh Benini was the winner of the best goaltender in the league last year.
Yeah, it was a pleasure calling the games last year. And, I miss him already.
Yeah.
Benini, come back. Come get on the Junior Oil with Manning and Jackal. Come do an interview, man.
Oh, if he's home, I'm sure he'd do it.
Yes.
Yeah, he would do it. We call him Bam Bam Benini.
Bam Bam Benini. What a year he had last year. And it's good to see him having success moving forward.
Yeah, we sort of, the Junior Oilers maybe become a little bit of a pipeline to the Moose Jaw Warriors. You look at who's there with
McFadden,
Landon McFadden, Ethan Hughes, Brady Ness, who played on the Orange team in the first year, and then Josh Benini there in goal. So, it's they've got 4 guys there, and I know they played here against the Oil Kings. They didn't have a great game, I don't think, against the Oil Kings. I think they lost 5-1, but certainly strong representation from both the Blue and Orange teams with Moose Jaw Warriors.
Yeah. Speaking of the Oil Kings, too, actually, Oil Kings are playing tomorrow at Rogers Place.
Yeah, right after.
White. Yeah, so we're going to have to wrap up quick tomorrow.
Quick, yeah.
And
we have to be out by 4.
Yeah,
so.
Depending how that game goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot wait to see if the ladies can improve to 22-0.
Yeah,
that's insane, man.
Yeah, they're all there. But Lloyd's a good team.
Good team. Yep.
Yeah, they're coached by a fellow by the name of Dan Ockenberg, who's gone out there. I think he was there last year as well, and really put together a real strong program. So this
should be a good game, is what you're saying.
It should be a great game. This is not a tap-in for the Junior Oilers.
They've been on fire recently, I've noticed as
Can't
well,
wait, man.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
That goes 1 o'clock tomorrow at Rogers Place. Tickets still available. Feel free to come check out the game. Oh, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
That's going to be, it's like a dream come true, doing games at Rogers Place. Ladies look to go 22-0. Blue looking to get back in the win column. Orange looking to make it 4 in a row tonight.
They can't give Ben Harvey 2 breakaway chances in this game if I'm Blue. I mean, he's going to bury one of those every day of the week. So.
For sure. He's too talented to give him 2 breakaways.
Yeah, and Harvey scored last night. He scored his 16th of the season, and he still leads the team in points. One of the better players, like we spoke earlier about.
Yeah, certainly. This year, you think about the 15-year-olds in the league, and we saw Ozzie McIntyre from St. Albert a few nights ago. He's
crazy.
Been on fire.
Such a smart player.
Smart hockey player. And
you notice him every time he's on the ice.
Yeah, for sure. So. This league is it's high. It's a high-end league, and it's a pleasure to watch any team in this league.
It's fun. It's fun.
St. Albert's been so good as of late as well, which makes everything really tight because
they started off a little slow, but Jack Redlick over there, he runs a fabulous program, and I think anybody that's been around and seen what Jack does knew that near the end they'll be there. So
we're gonna have to go through them. One of these teams is gonna have to go through them.
Absolutely,
and Sherwood Park there as well. I mean, they obviously beaten Orange last year, just having a little bit more. I mean, they are such a great program. As well.
So it's not an easy road.
It's not
for these teams to get where they want to get to. And we're getting down to the stretch here.
Yeah. It's gone so fast.
Yeah, there's less than 10 games left for these teams.
Yeah.
Less than a month to go.
Crazy.
And we'll be in the playoffs.
In the regular season here.
I think I saw a date of February 25th. So
yeah, that's when the playoffs start?
That's when the playoffs start. Like season ends and we get going right away.
So.
Oh, here we
go,
that is
quick.
Man.
Yeah. It's
a month away.
I cannot wait. It's going to fly by, Ewan.
Yeah, I know.
It's going to fly by.
Yeah.
So every weekend from here on out, too, I'm pretty sure Orange is going to have games at home. Because, like I said, they got 8 of their last 9, or 7 of their last 9, 8 of their last 10 are here at Bill Hunter. So they're going to be here trying to move up in the standings. Orange are.
Yep.
And Blue, there's still a chance for them to get first. Blue.
Yep, there
Right.
is. You know,
Yeah.
it's so tight right now with, you know, Sherwood Park, St. Albert, Blue, Orange.
Yeah.
You know, and Fort Saskatchewan is, you know, they're creeping up there too. They've played a few more games than the rest of the other than the other teams.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you know, we'll see, but you know, it's in your own hands. You got to
Yeah.
win, right?
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. And this is a 4-point game tonight.
Exactly. I was going to mention that.
The bye can be so key.
Yeah.
Going into the next round. I know Blue ended up losing Orange, but I mean, getting that extra week can be very different.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
Talk about these playoffs. So I'm getting excited here.
Yeah.
It's going to feel like almost like a playoff game tonight, I think.
I think it
Yeah.
will.
You know what I'm
think
saying?
The intensity will be up. Like it's nothing better that, you know, it's hockey night in Canada. It's Saturday night at the
Yeah.
Bill. Right?
Yes,
There's
exactly.
no Oilers games going on, no NFL football, so we should have a decent attendance as well.
Yes.
We should.
Cannot wait.
Yeah.
Anything else, Ewan?
No, I think we got everything we wanted to. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, of
Yes, thanks. That was Rob Lee, the director of the Junior Oilers. What a pleasure having you on.
Yep.
And we're going to have a good game tonight
Yep.
here at the Bill Hunter Arena. Edmonton Junior Oilers Blue, Edmonton Junior Oilers Orange. It's always a good game. And then, like I mentioned, tomorrow, the Junior Oilers White going to be playing at
Yep.
Rogers Place, looking to go 22-0,
Wow.
if you can believe it.
Yeah. Yep. Should
Cannot
be a
wait.
fun one. We'll be back with the post game. That was the Junior Oil with Manny and Jacko.
Awesome. Thanks.